Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube show in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. And yes, I'm trying to adjust my camera and microphone while I'm talking. Never a good idea. I am Zach Law. This is Sharona Stormborn. This week, Sharona brings the wine and I also bring the wine. We're going guest-free this week, although next week, Jamalisms of Twitter, who does a Two-Tone Titans podcast. We can either have a really depressing podcast next week about the Titans, or we're going to be like, yeah, and Shara's going to be happy because every fantasy team she has, 2 drink minimum, 2 Titans minimum. So, hi, and hi to Dawn as well, who, Dawn was, I was at my friend Don's house a couple nights ago. Well, actually, it was a couple of nights ago. And he was talking about how he was distracted by all our chatting in the chat room and how that affected his draft. And he did go inner tubing early in the day, and I think he may have fallen asleep because he set the bar. He didn't take the first kicker, but he did draft 3 kickers in a row. And tell me if anybody in fantasy history has done that. Because he was like, oh, I took Connor Barth, and then the Bears signed Connor Barth like the next day. I'm like, yeah, but he's your kicker 3. Anyway, but that's how it goes. It was a good... We can talk about the draft because on Sunday I was just like finishing making 2 pizzas and I was super sweaty and I was like, do I really want to do a show during the draft? We did this at the auction last week. Let me just chat. So we chatted.
And yeah, I was kind of glad we didn't.
We can talk about our only fantasy matchup in the universe that has 2 teams with Tajay Sharp team names. And I only did that because Sharona was trying to be the world's foremost expert on having Tajay Sharp in every fantasy draft. We can talk about how that didn't quite happen during our draft on Sunday.
Well,
so Sharona, how are you?
I'm good. Sharona's drinking wine tonight. I am drinking actually a lovely blend. It is a red blend. It is had an open bottle, and because I'm saving my liver for this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I have been drinkless this week until tonight, and so I'm drinking the rest of this Three Thieves red blend, which is rather cheap and quite tasty. So that's what I'm drinking, and I just filed my article for Inside the Pylon, and it's a look at Jason Morrow, and so life's good.
I'm just doing this to see if the screen capture from this episode is me with my bottle. Gnarly Head Authentic Black. They also have a 1924, which is like an older. It's a little bit darker.
Wine?
Yep.
You're drinking wine too?
I went all in on beer. I had a couple of bombers on our draft night, and then I had one at my friend Don's house. I had You're going to roll the crap out of your eyes right now because I had a beer from a brewery called Paradox, and it was called Pineapple Upside Down Sour. It was a pineapple sour with this heavy sugar in it, and it was aged in Nicaraguan rum barrels. So it was sweet,
cool.
And it was really tasty.
Yeah, man, that
very
sounds cool.
Dessert-ish beer. I was having all my dessert beers, I was trying to get my dessert beers out of the way because this weekend in Nashville, I gotta, go hardcore, or else, sure, just constantly make fun of me, and I just can't handle it.
I'm gonna do that anyway.
I cannot take
Listen, I'm gonna do that anyway, so don't deprive yourself. You might want to You might want to have some fruity beer to take away the sting.
So, how do you feel about your draft on Sunday and the whole process? Because we had a pretty tough crowd there. I mean, we had some really serious, people actually, do full-time and at least part-time fantasy. And then, of course, friends and family as well.
I knew it was going to be rough because I took Delaney, I think, in the 5th round, and somebody was like, that's a little early for Delaney. I was like, I do not care.
Yeah.
Obviously, had never. It was probably Bob, right? It's probably Bob.
It was Bob because Bob Lung, who we had on a couple weeks ago, he's Mr. Consistent. I mean, he can look. He was actually the turn, so he had.
I love Bob. It's fine.
He had nice breaks between his picks. Yeah, I mean, you get Eric Decker, you had like Duke Johnson. We'll see how that one goes. But
Well, see, and here's the thing,
he took Will
and
Fuller
Zach
in the
knows
ninth
this.
round, so that's
I thought that was early. I was like, but everybody. Anyway, so I took Delaney Walker early, and he thought that was early, and that's fine. And then who else? I took somebody else early, and I think he thought that was early. But then I got sniped on Tajay, waiting on Tajay. So that's why you do it, because you're like, it only takes one person to come in here and snipe you, and was a snake draft if I remember. And so I was like, it's gonna be, and I was like in sort of, I think, where was I? I was like fourth or fifth maybe. So anyway, and then I missed seeing. I was doing good. I was liking most of my picks, and then oh, stop that! Sorry, cats are in here. Cats have been driving me nuts today, because they know that I'm packing to leave. So then I was looking for Tajay. I didn't know he had been drafted for whatever reason, and I was looking for him, and then I missed a pick, and somebody got auto. Oh, Dion Lewis. It was Dion Lewis that got auto drafted to me, which I never would have made that pick.
That's right.
And
You did
then
take him, and I kind of wondered. I mean, you don't get a lot of time. I did like a mock draft, but I was doing my crazy multitasking where I was like making pizza and trying to clean the kitchen and do a mock draft at the same time. But I just wanted to see how the room worked, because in the mock draft
yeah.
you had 30 seconds, and in ours we had a minute. And when someone ran out of time, you're like, they must have just fallen asleep or something. But there were a couple times where I had about 10 seconds to go, and I'm like, I have no idea who I'm taking. I just had to
Oh yeah. I
grab
mean,
somebody.
it was something. And there were times I was picking like with 8 or 9 seconds left, and just because I was scrolling, and I kind of knew who I wanted to take, and I was scrolling, and then I got sniped on Jordan Howard. Other than that, I don't really remember. I wasn't. I think Carson. Well, here, let me pull up. I think Carson Palmer is my starting quarterback, which um is fine. I probably.
Good for you.
I don't have very many
I don't know
shares
why
of
I
him. I
can't
think that's
find
probably.
your team on here, but you're in here.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Carson Palmer
live and die with Ty Bay.
is my main quarterback. Let's see. I'll go down my roster real quick. I
So
pretty much like it.
you got DeMarco in the third and Derrick Henry in the sixth. So you're like, I'm locking this Titans fucking running game down.
I've got and Delaney, and then I
It's
took
nice that
UB.
your like two favorite teams between the Titans and the Panthers like are half your team, because you got Devin Funchess, you got the Panthers D. That's good stuff. Well,
Yeah,
Deion Lewis
this.
won the 16th round. I mean, if he comes back later in the year, that's good. If not, you cut him. And of
Yeah,
course, you had to get Chris Johnson. One of us had to end up with
had
Chris
to.
Johnson. That was kind of
Yeah.
a requirement.
Let's see. So my roster: Carson Palmer, my starting quarterback; my starting wideouts: Sammy Watkins, Kelvin Benjamin, Sterling Sharp; my running backs: David Johnson, DeMarco
Sterling
Murray.
Sharp, huh? And he retired. Sterling Shepard, y'all, rookie.
Didn't I say Sterling Shepard?
I thought I said Sterling Sharp.
Maybe.
Isn't he doing a show on
And
Fox
then
something sports?
and
Sorry.
then and then my. Will you quit interrupting me? And then my bench: Devin Funchess, Dwayne Allen, Philip Dorsett, Virgil Green, Dak Prescott, Deion Lewis, Chris Johnson. Pick of the entire draft. I took Alex Smith
Alex Smith at the end, yeah.
simply because I took Dak Prescott because I didn't have him yet and I wanted to share.
Hmm.
And so I took Alex. There's really nobody else out there. I took Alex, just as in case I had to get rid of Dak Prescott. And then my kicker is Justin Tucker, and my defense is Carolina defense. So yeah,
Panthers. Yeah,
Panthers.
we were in like
Big
the
County.
16th round, and I realized, oh, I have to take a kicker to defense. So those were my last two picks, although I've already replaced my kicker because it's weird. Like the local school, Georgia State, the rookie kicker is Will Lutz, whatever his name is the kicker for the Saints, and they kick a lot indoors. So I'm like, sure. And I only took the Packers because I was like, good offense, okay. But yeah, my first pick, I mean, I was like AJ Green. I thought he was like the fifth best player, so I was happy to get him. But the second pick, I took to like 1 second to go, and I took Gronkowski. I was really thinking about taking Evans. I've been so heavy on wide receivers, and I still was heavy on wide receivers, but I got Gronk. And then CJ Anderson, totally drinking the Kool-Aid there. I feel like I have a few too many of him. And then the fourth round, like Jamal Charles had dropped because of that injury, and I just couldn't take him, so I took Dante Moncrief. And I don't know if that's me being conservative or me being like, I don't know, because I just was like, I don't know. And everybody's loving on Dante Moncrief, but I have not been able to get him any later than like the fourth round, and I
That's
don't
too
know
rich for my
how
blood.
much like upside,
I
but
wouldn't take.
they're going to throw
I
all
mean, they've
day,
got
and their defense is bad.
they're gonna throw and all that, but they've still got T.Y. Hilton and Philip Dorsett is going to get, and then Dwayne Allen. I don't know. I have some Dwayne Allen, and I took Philip Dorsett late, but yeah, his Dante Moncrief's ADP is too high for me.
Of course. And I got
Anyway,
my first Larry Fitzgerald share. It seemed like people were running away from him because he did get fewer targets as the year went on, but John Brown and the concussions, you're not really sure, and it's like
yeah,
he's going to get the ton of targets. I
I've
wasn't
avoided
terribly
John Brown.
excited about like Tyler Lockett in the sixth round, but it's that whole Matt Harmon thing. He like falls in love with a guy, and it's like he's not even starting, but it's like, yeah, he's good. I don't know. I hope we get kick return touchdown, so maybe that'll help me out. I mean, Frank Gore. I have like 8 out of 10 leagues. I think I have Frank Gore because he's always in the seventh round. I'm like, sure. And I kind of handcuffed receivers because I got Willie Snead and Michael Thomas, and I'm like, well, one of those two guys should be like the number 2 or 3 option in New Orleans. I got 2 Lions in a row. Is that good? Amir Abdullah and Eric Ebron, just
No,
because
it's not.
I don't know. What was that episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson was going to get therapy, and the therapist was like, I have a sliding scale, and he said, keep sliding. Like when it comes to Amir Abdullah and drafting him, you're like, keep waiting. I'm like, well, 10th round, I don't know. So we'll see. And yeah, my quarterback's Ryan Fitzmagic and Ryan Tannehill. So 2 Ryans. And then I realized those guys have really shitty week 1 matchups. So I ended up picking up Brock Osweiler, who I probably will start this week. Ugh. But against the Bears,
There's
like
already
throw
people
it deep. He actually has a worse deep ball than Mariota. Sorry, Sharona. Too early? Yeah, too early.
that
But he's going to throw it up to Will Fuller and
he's been
hopefully
in
catch
the
one.
league longer. He should have a better deep ball.
He's never
Yeah.
played. I'm pretty sure
Well,
he
but
was the same
still,
draft class as Russell Wilson.
he was in town with Peyton.
Yeah, I know. You learn anything from Peyton? Yeah, that's so we finished up the draft, and the one thing that kind of surprised me is that we finished an 18-round draft in 86 minutes. We were done by like 8:30. I didn't even finish my first beer. I mean, it was that kind of draft. It was very, very fast. And
Yeah,
so
it was a very fast
see how it actually ends up in person. I'm glad we're matching up, I think we
Yeah.
might have been the first 2 people to join, so we were
You didn't
automatically
tell everybody what your name was.
set up. I named my team Tajay's Flat. I think it's just based on the Sharona love of Tajay, but it's Yahoo, so you can change your name pretty easily. So I think I'm going to have like a weekly team name. Get some good ideas for the future. The only downside with that is people change their names a lot. You're like, oh, who's that again? So
Yeah, see, I don't like that. That bugs
you
me.
have to look closely. I mean,
Pick a name and stick to it.
I know everybody on there, but it's not like I've interviewed everybody on there, and it's not like so. We'll see. But the mix of 4 people from my old league and a bunch of former guests and people we know and fantasy folks who just agreed. I was like, I think it should be a pretty good one.
I love my name. To live and die with
It's a
Tabe.
challenge, and I'm still not thrilled with the auction team I had last week. Man, the receivers just flew off the board, and I ended up with like 7 receivers who are like wide receiver 4s. So,
I mean,
and my wide receiver 1 is Demaryius Thomas, and nobody's very high on him this year. So yeah, we'll see. But it's all about I don't know. I get kind of jealous when people are talking about doing more drafts and more leagues, but I know I'm definitely like, okay, I'm finished. But the
Let's
but the auction process and the draft process, those are very fun. But then there's the whole maintenance of teams.
uh,
So I'm kind of glad our auction is just set it and forget it. Although when players get hurt, you kind of get like, oh crap.
let's not even set it. It's what it is, right? It's best ball, right?
That is correct. It's like it's that Scott
Yeah.
Fish King of the Hill League is like that too. The Scott Fish Bowl, you actually get to maintain your roster, but I don't think you do waivers until after week 1. So
Yeah.
guess who's going to be really expensive? Dak Prescott.
I really like my going for 2 team this year.
So you feel confident? You think week
I
1 you're
feel
going to
pretty
show the
confident in it.
smackdown? You're going to start all your Titans against me?
Um, well, I mean, it's best ball, right? You don't set it.
Well, I was talking about the one we did on Sunday. Last
Oh,
Wednesday's auction, yes, it's best ball.
I like that team. I'm looking at it right now. I like that team.
And I think we might
Everybody
have.
was making fun of me, but I like it.
She likes it.
Yep.
Let's look. See, so you got in that one Mariota, Tyrod, you got of course Derrick Henry, because you had to splash the pot on Henry. Hey, Lacey should come back. Devonta, you like Devonta Freeman too. You got Devonta Freeman.
I do. Yes, I do.
Terrence West. That was a weird. The whole Justin Forsett thing. Like they cut him, and then everybody freaked out, and then like 2 days later they re-signed him, and I guess they gave him a bonus because they were trying to do some kind of roster shenanigans, and just. I think actually in a best ball, having a Ravens running back is probably better than a league where you have to set your lineup just because you don't know because they have like 4 guys now. Like is Terrence West? Is anyone getting 10 touches on that team a week?
Yeah.
And I have Javorius Allen and a few like MFL 25s, but that was like a 15th round pick.
I'm being circled. They're circling the wagon.
I was going to double check and see if I am as horrified by my team as I was at the end of last week.
The wideouts are pretty solid. Travis Benjamin, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Jordan Matthews, Terrell Pryor, Tajay Sharp, of course.
All those guys who like catch passes. I don't know. Because I got Demaryius Thomas and then actually got Will Fuller, but I mean it's just please somebody have a touchdown kind of lineup. Kamar Aiken, Anquan Bolden, Devontae Adams, Leonte Carew, who I hear is going to be inactive to start the year, Sammy Coates, Philip Dorsett. Oh my gosh, pain and suffering. And I got Le'Veon Bell 2 years in a row. What happened there? I got him last year, and then he gets injured and didn't work out. I didn't get D'Angelo Williams to back him up, but yeah, it's fun. So are you not a fan of the Yahoo ranking system? Is that what you're saying? After you got
I'm not saying I'm not a fan.
You passed.
I mean, it's just like I can't remember any league. They're all weird and different, right? I mean, and they're all you go into these drafts and it's like I ended up with Dion Lewis, and it was later on, but still, it was because people kept. I mean, his ADP was high. People kept passing over him, and I ended up with him on auto selection because I missed, right? And so, in every single league, it's like that. And if you're not paying attention, you'll get stuck with just some loser pick that you would never have made. And so, it's weird that and then you get the grades and it's like you didn't agree with our crappy rankings, and so C. Well, okay, you had Dion Lewis ranked as the 5th running back. What the fuck?
Well, when I was going for my run earlier in the day, the FF Matrix guy said, "Hey, can we start the draft late because I have something going on?" I'm like, well, I can't change 11 people's schedules for one. So I said, sorry. And he didn't actually get to the draft, and he pre-drafted and he ended up getting an A because he must have drafted the players that Yahoo liked. So we'll see how it does turn out. Yeah. Now, do you think are you going to do some, a little locker room talk, chalkboard talk, and talk some smack before the game to throw me off, a little psychological action?
What is this cat do? Get down.
See? The cats.
Cats are really starting to get on my nerves. Get down.
There's a reason why you let them not in the room during the show.
Usually, yes. I'm sorry, what was the question?
What do you want to, smack talk for our week one matchup?
Oh, oh, the chalk talk. Oh, oh. Um, yeah, that reminds me. There's an article I want to go out there and read by Danny Bostic. So yes, there's going to be trash talk. To answer the question directly,
Because currently, according to
probably not with Josh,
The
but with
Yahoo
you.
scoring, let's see, you are predicted to score 121.88, and I'm scheduled to score 120.22. Even though sites told me, Osweiler's a better start than Fitzpatrick. Apparently, Yahoo disagrees. And I'm not sure if Yahoo knows that the kicker for the Saints is starting for them. Here's a little Yahoo thing I didn't realize from like my days playing baseball with them. If you cut a player and you sign another player and you only have one player at that position, they automatically put that player on the bench. So make sure to, manually set your
Oh
players
yes,
back.
they do. That's really
Because
screwed.
that was one thing I was like, wait, I have no kicker and I have one kicker on the bench. That isn't, like, they should automatically start. And they
NFL
had
does
that
that too.
weird drag and drop system. And I'm like, I want the old one where I have the drop down system because I don't know, the other one wasn't working. I'm old.
They've
What can I
changed the
say?
interface. I didn't like it very much this year, the draft interface. And for me, Yahoo's been the standard for a long, long time. They've done things extremely well, and it's been the best. And I won't even do CBS Sports because it's so bad. But this year, I thought that ESPN had the best draft interface, and I need to check their apps and see how I haven't really checked the apps. But overall, I have to give it. It would probably go this year for me. I like the way my fantasy. Now that I've gotten used to it, I like the way my fantasy league does things too. But in terms of anything beyond besides my fantasy league, the other sites, it'd probably be ESPN, NFL, and then Yahoo, which is kind of flipped from where it would have been in years past.
So how many leagues you in now?
Too
Can you
freaking
count?
many. Probably about 15.
I
I
think,
said I went into this year saying I'll do 5. That's it. I'll do 5. And
but you're a
no,
popular personality.
I haven't. In fact, I was. Will sit down probably first thing in the morning and update my spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet of all of them and set all my lineups and go through and do all of that because I start recording podcasts at noon, and those podcasts will not be over until like 3-ish, somewhere around there. So I actually have to do radio first thing in the morning too, now that I think about it. So
In other words, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, that's why I did. I think I did 6 NFL. I did 4 NFL 25s and 2 NFL 10s. I'm like, great, draft and forget. King of the Hill League, draft and forget. The Auction League, don't have to worry about setting a lineup. But I have the Dynasty League, I have the league we did on Sunday, and then I have the Scott Fish Bowl. So 3 leagues to maintain during the year. Hopefully, I feel like I don't know if I can do any more. I don't even know if I can do that.
I've got one league on NFL.com. I've got 3 on Yahoo, and the rest of them are on my fantasy league. And fortunately, all 3 of those, all you have to do is click on your fantasy tab and you see your teams. And so it's a little bit easier to manage that way.
Yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming when I look at that because it includes some mocks I did. So I'm like, man, I got a lot of leagues on here.
Yeah, I only did one mock this year. Last year I did like so many, and every week my email inbox just piled up, and it was, I mean, I went out of last season just overwhelmed from all of it, and but I was internet less. I took some time off from all of that, and so I'm rejuvenated.
So do you prefer the set your lineup leagues or do you kind of like the best ball?
I am very new to best ball. Last year was the first year. So, and overall, I would have to say I sucked at it. I'm still learning options, and so it was a mixed bag at the very least. And I would say that I'm better at leagues where that I'm more familiar with, which should make some sense, I suppose. Um, I did not. Last year was the first year in like a few years that I didn't place first in at least one of my fantasy leagues. Like the year before that, I won big in one and bought my Xbox One. There were two that I second place in, and then um, I was in the top, and then another one that I was like third or fourth. I can't remember. Fourth, I think. I can't. Will you stop? Hang on. Oh God.
Wow. The pets are causing a bit of a windstorm in there. Casa de Sharona. My cats have no interest in shows. No interest at all. But they just got fed, so I'm not sure if I can hear Sharona right now. She's there. Can you hear me? No, no, yes. I see her mouth moving, but I don't hear anything. That's not a good sign. Sharona's telling me what an amazing draft I just had. I did like the best draft she's ever seen, and the beers I drink, especially the fruit ones, are just amazing. And all around swell
How about
guy.
how about
There
now?
we go. See, I
Sorry,
knew
the
if I kept
cat.
putting words in your mouth, you'd be like, "Listen, this is not continuing right now."
It's the cat's fault. They have been. This is what it's been like all day. They have not been leaving me. They have not left me alone, and it's because they saw me packing.
Now, can we get now? You post a lot of stuff, but I didn't see anything about the like 7 heart attacks you had during last Thursday's Tennessee Appalachian State game. So is a good time to talk about that? Too
Sure,
soon?
I've talked about it on the podcast some, and talked a little bit about the podcast discussions in our wrap ups on my website. So if you read that stuff, you kind of have a little idea where I'm going. But yeah, it was, and it's interesting because um, you know Butch Jones is a fantastic recruiter. There's no doubt whatsoever about that. But the thing that I have been wanting to see was better. You just better play on the field. Better coaching, better play on the field. And then Thursday night rolls around and it was awful. And I had been for like, and I think this goes back to like maybe his first year as a head coach. I can't remember if it was Derek Dooley's last year or his first year, but I had made this vow that I was not going to tweet. I've not really been tweeting about college football much anyway, but I had not been tweeting about the Vols because it just got it just I just was ashamed of some of the things that I had said, and so um, so Thursday night, that was the first thing. That was the first decision. Am I going to tweet about this? And I did, and it was fine. I didn't, it was cool. Pulling back a little bit away from it is good. And so, but it was interesting. We talked about that Saturday morning some, and I talked a little bit about it today. But then this afternoon, right as I filed my Jason Morrow story, not story, it's just it's a little look at. I did a comparison between him and Delaney Walker. But it I was relaxing, getting ready for this show, and somebody pointed me to a tweet from the football account, and apparently, I can't even say this with a straight face. Apparently, the new Stoops, the new defensive coordinator, is going to try to go with the first ever no huddle defense, no huddle defense. And so,
Hmm.
which, if you're not familiar, makes no sense at all. There's literally not any good reason that you would ever do that. But hey, we're going to do it. So,
Well,
Woohoo!
I mean, the offense is running fast kind of plays makes you have to do it in defense. Like you can't rotate as much, although with college you have a much deeper roster than you do in the NFL, but you're not going to play all those players. So we'll see. Yeah, I just thought the whole Tennessee Appalachian State game was just personified in that play where Josh Dobbs is like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
shit, I'm going in on like 3rd and goal in overtime. And he gets
Oh,
clocked. Like he got hit really
fuck.
hard, and that ball came out, and he was half a yard from the end zone, but he was not going to score. And of course, Tennessee recovered it because Tennessee had just had
It was the first
Chris
bounce pass touchdown ever.
they were able to score, and Appalachian State didn't have it. I mean, they had like a freshman kicker. I mean, he missed the extra point, but when Tennessee scored a touchdown, they would have probably gone for 2 and tied it, But you never know. And then he missed a kick later, and it was just like Tennessee's supposed to be really good this year, right? Like Josh Dobbs did not seem ready. I don't know if college doesn't have preseason, like he didn't have that game action, but
The whole
Appalachian
team
State
looked
was ready.
underprepared. Yeah, the whole team looked underprepared, and it was like we're not. Maybe they didn't game. Maybe they've been game planning for the other games, right? But the whole team did not look prepared.
But you got the W.
Yes, in overtime, which a lot of top 10 teams could not say, and so
Yeah, there
uh,
was. I think they said 7 of the SEC schools lost this weekend. I mean, including Missouri, which, like, I started watching the Missouri game against West Virginia, and they had the new offensive coordinator, Josh Heupel, who's the ex Oklahoma quarterback, and so when you run the really fast offense, like the Chip Kelly Oregon offense, and you go 3 and out, you go 3 and out in like 40 seconds, and your defense is worn out. So Missouri's defense just got run over against West Virginia, and the offense for Missouri actually compared to last year's horrible, just disastrous offense, actually had a good game. They just couldn't score any points. Like I was going out with my wife, and they had the ball at the 7 yard line, and they didn't even score. Like they missed like a 20-yard field goal. And then later in the game, when Missouri scored a touchdown, they were down 26-9, and they went for 2. And I'm like, the math does not. That's like when like these little things happen, and you get a little questionable about your coaching staff. I'm like, if you miss the 2-point conversion down 26-9, you're down 3 scores. If you get it, you're down 2. But if you kick the extra point, you're down 2. And they lost 26-11, which sounds more pathetic than 26-10. But I guess you can give Missouri credit for actually playing a real football team in week 1, because usually they play scrubs. But yeah, this week they play Eastern Michigan. I expect, not. They should win, but it's going to be kind of ugly. Like one of Missouri's receivers had 23 targets. Like imagine that in the NFL. That's like crazy. He had 8 catches. So
isn't that where
it was
isn't
not good.
Eastern Michigan? Isn't that where Jason Jones went to school? I think it is.
I think so. Eastern Michigan's had some pros. I think they're one of the worst teams in the MAC. So all the SEC schools are lining up to get them. But yeah, Missouri plays I think Middle Tennessee, and like for homecoming, I'm like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
They're a pretty good
We'll
team.
see how that goes. They've been to some bowl games, but
Yeah.
for Missouri to go to a bowl game this year, I think they had to win the opener and then 2 conference games. And well, we'll see. We'll see how the SEC is, but it's that fast offense. But they threw a bunch of. But hey, I'll give Missouri credit for this. Like since they've gone Nike, almost every uniform combination they have makes me want to cry because I'm like old gold and black, but they wore the all white and they had like these silver helmets. And it was West Virginia who decided to go with the urine yellow home jersey that was awful, but they won. So at least Missouri looked better than the other team. I mean, Tennessee can never look better than the other team because that orange is hideous.
Oh,
But
come on, it's the best. Oh, I'm
actually,
sorry.
the Tennessee orange is better than the Missouri
You might see some
urine yellow.
immeasurables
I
over
call it
there. Let
wrong.
me
The
straighten up.
live color, that yellow, should not be an NFL like jersey. Like gold and yellow, no, because it's not a team's primary color, and it just makes no sense. And yeah, so I think I was kind of happy that I ended up going to a sports bar, not a sports bar. I went to a bar because we're at the Decatur Book Festival, and they had all these amazing beers, and they didn't have any TV, so I could watch the games on Twitter, and that was much better. I was much happier.
At least you had
They had
beer.
a they had a nice sour like that Dionysus that I really like from Wild Heaven that I had during the auction. They had a
Hmm.
beer just like it, like a dark beer with sour. Very good. I wasn't there long enough, sadly. I only got to have a couple beers, but it was fun. That's my preference. So I don't know. Maybe after the Titans game on Sunday, what do they got downtown with a quality beer selection? Let's
Oh,
do that.
lots.
Although
There's
Sharona will be like, hit me with the tequila.
yeah, there. Well, I'm trying to think. Big River, I think is there's that, and then what's the name of that other place? Of course, it's been a couple of years since I've been down there, so we'll see what's what. I'm sure we can find a place, and if not, there's stores on the way back to mom and dad's.
Yeah, we can make our own beer party. So this is happening. We think it's
So,
happening. Nashville weekend starting Saturday. Josh Ducaster, who I may or may not do a little Titans Vikings show later with, is coming from LA, flying into Nashville Saturday afternoon. So probably Saturday night we'll be at my parents' house watching Tennessee beat Virginia Tech. Right. Hopefully,
hopefully,
uh, and maybe I'll be running off the road in Mario Kart.
I'm
That's my
bringing.
best hopes.
Is my room is my sleeping space? Is it gonna have a place where I could play my Xbox One?
Well, they have the Wii set up upstairs, so I'm sure you could probably do that.
Okay. Because if it doesn't, well, it's fine.
Xbox One. Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh,
trying to
what are
figure
all
out.
these buttons?
I'm just trying. I want you to. I want to show you my games. You're gonna be forced to play games with me for at least an hour.
There will be no sleeping. I see. We're at potty, Nashville style. So yeah,
Party.
Nashville star. So the Titans made a couple of roster moves, of course, since they had to cut down.
Yep.
So who makes the most impact for the team? Your Jay Samaro or the return of Marco Mariani?
I think Mariani. Yeah. I mean, and of course, this is assuming that they're not lying. Ooh, they're telling the full truth with regard to Delaney Walker. He didn't really see much action during
Hmm.
the preseason, and he left that one game with breathing problems. Um, they only have right now three tight ends. Just picked up, as Zach mentioned, Jason Morrow, and as I mentioned previously. So I took a look at him, did some film work on him, and did a little comparison between. He was a guy when he came out. This was what 2014. Um, I did not really scout him or look at him because the tight end position wasn't one that I thought the Titans would have drafted early. He was expected to go early, and I think that the Jets picked him in the second round. So anyway, so I went back and looked at his college film and looked at some of his NFL film, and there's spoiler alert, not really any change. Now he hasn't played much in the NFL, and he had the injury, missed a season, and all of that. But with Mariani, and it's so weird because I had forgotten this. I wanted to pull some film of Delaney Walker, and I was looking for some film of him, in particular blocking. And so I got on YouTube and didn't really find anything that was good that I wanted. And so I went to Google something I'd written about the Steelers Titans game back in 2013, and it was one of the search results that popped up. And so I went to that game and pulled some film for this comparison study. And I had forgotten that the first play of that game, Darius Raynaud, with
Took a
the
knee.
brain fart, the knee, and the yeah, that was a safety. And so, and then of course that brings to mind Ryan Mouton, and all the have the position may be devalued, but you don't want mistakes there. I like the move. I understand people, Trey McBride, I thought was a guy who rightfully did belong on the practice squad. And I think he's a nice player and I'm pulling for him, but I like that move. I think that's probably going to have the because of the possibility of a wrong play in those situations. I think that it was the right move. And so yeah, it's interesting, and I haven't really talked about this. I guess I sort of did today. I had Ed Kratz, who covers the Philadelphia Eagles for one of the media groups up there. He came on the podcast, and we were talking about the Sam Bradford trade and all of that, and talking about the Vikings. And it's kind of funny to me that Mike Mularkey is insistent that he thinks that they're going to face Sam Bradford this weekend, and to me, I think it's going to be Sean Hill. So it's going to be interesting to see who's right.
Yeah, that whole thing
Be sure to ask Josh about that.
adds a layer. Well, I'm hoping he's not still too traumatized because Josh was on the couch downstairs in the man cave, and we were watching the playoff game when Blair Walsh missed the field goal in the playoff game.
Oh,
And it was like the 5 stages of grief. I don't know. He may have only gotten through 2.
yeah,
I was there.
that
He kept
was
saying,
sad.
that was shorter than an extra point, right? I'm like, I think it was. And it's just,
Bless his heart.
and then he missed one in the preseason game against the Seahawks that they still won because the Seahawks are like, if Russell Wilson gets hurt, we're screwed. So we're going to start a rookie free agent as our backup quarterback. Why not? He threw a pick 6 in that preseason game. But yeah, I don't know because I've been like desperately trying to get a backup quarterback in my dynasty league, and I'd blame Gabbert. So when Sean Hill popped up, I was like, I made a bid for him, and then as soon as I got the winning bid, it was like, oh, they're trading for Bradford. So I'm like, well, never mind. There goes my bye week fill-in. I don't know. That was weird to hear all the stories about it. It was like, well, Bradford he's like been highly regarded, but anytime like any fantasy person like he's like he's terrible. I mean, he's not terrible. Obviously, he's got the NFL skill set, but he can't move because he has torn ACLs,
He has no
and he's
knees.
never really done anything in the NFL. And he's been traded for picks like 3 times, 2 times. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's crazy. We should all want to be Sam Bradford in our next life.
Like if you have a moment, you listen to RotoViz radio this week. They had a like Fantasy Mansion on. That guy like was hepped up like Bob Harris on coke, and he was just like, "Wait, a first rounder and a fourth rounder? Like they got an extra pick. Like if the Vikings make the playoffs this year, I think they have to give up a second rounder as well. So the Eagles are total fuck it grab draft picks. I think it's appropriate that the Eagles and the Browns are playing this week because they're both like." We're not really playing for this year teams. They're just building up. I mean, the Browns had 14 draft picks this year, and they kept them all.
Yeah.
So if you're a veteran, you're kind of screwed.
Did
But
you happen to, speaking of which, did you happen to read the article that was posted over at the Ringer about the age of the NFL being the youngest that it's ever been, and that's a huge concern, and blah blah blah.
no, sadly, I was trying to do something new, and I'll probably post it to my site maybe tomorrow. Like, what if I just kept track of everything I read in a day, just all the football articles I looked at? And so I kept track of that. I think that was one that I had on a tab, and it's still sitting there, and I haven't read it yet.
It's
I
interesting.
did I did notice that teams seem to be giving up on their draft picks even more lately. Like guys like Jason Morrow, second
Yeah.
round pick 3 years ago, who had a ACL tear, so he's really played 1 year, is gone. Titans gave up DGB like ski ya,
Hmm.
and a lot, and they're getting rid of a lot of their picks. Like I'm pretty sure in a year or two, it's gonna be. It might already be Mariotti and Mariotti.
Mariotti.
We have Mariana and Mariota. Jay Mariani and the fullback are going to be the only draft picks they've left from last year's class. So
Taylor
yeah,
Lewan.
teams are not afraid of
It's 2 years ago, but still,
letting guys go.
I
But
guess
can
still
you have?
competitive.
I think continuity is important, and this is one of those things I was reading about Chip Kelly. It's like the players, if you don't have that confidence that they're going to be kept around, that you might get the boot, that probably doesn't make you play as good as you want to. But
Why would you want to put? Why would you want to get injured for in a situation like that? I mean, you know.
well, it's true. Although I guarantee all the fans who bought the Mariani jersey after his rookie year are going to expect that he's going to be that good. And there were a few things behind that. I mean, the kickoffs went from the 30, and he had 60 kickoffs his rookie year, like led the NFL in kickoffs, and he had touchdowns. The Titans returning kicks and punts for touchdowns. What a weird idea. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure nobody's done that since him, but maybe we got one. But he hasn't really put very good numbers up with the Bears. I was just happy that after 2 season-ending injuries that he had, that he made it back, because that doesn't happen very often.
No, it does.
Like
I
a
mean,
seventh round pick with 4 years in the NFL, that's way above average.
he's had a nice career,
And he can
for
get his old number because wide receivers don't wear numbers in the 80s anymore. So I don't know, was he 83? But he can
no.
probably get that back. But are you excited? So tomorrow, of course, we have the unusual like Super Bowl rematch
Mhm.
and the weird like, hey, we're starting this quarterback for the Broncos who nobody had like on their draft board last year. And it's pretty obvious. I think he's a caretaker for a few weeks until Paxton Lynch is ready.
Yeah.
But usually the Super Bowl champs pull off that game. So do you think your Carolina Panthers are gonna be able to do it tomorrow?
Nobody
Mm,
seems to be terribly excited about this Super Bowl rematch, except maybe the
we
NFL.
like offense,
Um,
and we're not going to get
yeah.
much, I don't think.
I do. I think that at this point, for me, I think the Carolina Panthers would be, and I don't do power rankings. Maybe I'll do one, but for me, the Panthers would be number one.
Wow. And the Titans, where would they be?
The Titans right now would probably be
5.
about 18th,
Huh. Middle,
somewhere
huh?
between 18 and 20. Yeah.
That's higher than most. Yeah,
Well, I
I
mean, I think that for me, the concern with the Titans is their defense. I think their offense is going to be fine, and if they can stay on the field longer than their defense, maybe they'll be okay. But I mean, it's a legitimate concern.
yeah, usually in the NFL, if you know what the other team is going to do, your defense can figure it out. But I don't know if just Adrian Peterson and them blocking, if the Titans are going to be able to stop that. Plus, the cornerbacks didn't play much and didn't play well. I mean, McCourty's back. Parrish Cox, your favorite Titan, I guess, is starting because everybody else has been terrible. So we'll see. But I mean, how many passes are the Vikings going to throw on Sunday? They're going to throw too many.
I in my Titans article where I took a look at their offense during the off season during the preseason, it was interesting. They had the second ranked offense in terms of rushing, the second ranked rushing offense. Their overall offense was like fourth. Their passing game, I think, was like 20th, something like that. So they're going to run the ball. Are they going to throw it? I think they'll throw it judiciously.
Yeah, right. At this point in the NFL, if you're 50-50, that's like really run heavy, and the Titans seem like they're going to be even more than that. I mean, I don't know what the over-under is on Sunday's game, but it's got to be one of the lowest of the weekend because teams are going to be like, a field
Yeah.
goal's good, a punt's good. I already made a joke that the punters are going to be the guys first in the ice bath. And Twitter, being as amazing as it is, posted an article last year about, I think, a game in which the Chicago punter punted so many times he actually like had to get his leg was actually injured. That could happen with Brett Kern,
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, no way, we're gonna
Well,
dominate. We're not punting.
I mean, I don't know. He didn't punt much during the preseason. They had one of the better times of possessions in the league. I mean, their offense overall, you can draw too many conclusions from preseason, but you know, um, it certainly looked to be extremely promising.
So have you set your DFS lineups for this week? Because who doesn't need more lineups?
I have not set any lineups this week yet.
Uh-oh.
No, wait. I think I went ahead and set my DFS. I'll have to check on that.
'Cause I'll be honest, I don't even remember which it was FanDuel or DraftKings. You had to sign up and you got a free Football Guys membership. And I was like, I haven't set lineups all weekend, so I don't all year, so I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. I don't know if I can dive in because I feel like the DFS waters. I don't know. What do you think as someone who's coming in this year as a newbie?
I'm
How do you
playing
feel about that?
FanDuel.
Okay.
I'm playing FanDuel. I don't, for whatever reason, that's what I opted to go with. I think maybe I like their interface a little bit better. Maybe I'm still just a little turned off by DraftKings and their extremely misogynistic ads when they first
Hmm.
started. And they've gotten better and all of that. But I will probably try DraftKings, but the diary that I'm doing for ITP is I'm using FanDuel.
Well, okay. Maybe we should set up a matchup on one of these.
All right. I'm
Then be
game.
like another lineup.
You want another league where I'm going to kick your ass? All right.
Ooh, that just happened. Because we do have some kind of beer bet of the auction league. I don't know if we have any kind of bets regarding this weekend. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So we have a kind of a brief over it or not, but we might as well throw it. It's hashtag over it or hashtag super nah.
Okay.
So because super nah.
Put on.
So over it or nah, circumcising a mosquito. That was the worst line.
I just want to say that I skipped right over all of that mess without ever even letting it register. So I'm going to have to say hard pass.
Everybody has already written Tony Romo's like epitaph, like he's done, like he's finished in the NFL. That's what people think. And because at first they were talking about him going IR, but I don't think he was, and I don't know. We'll see. Because I think I already brought this up, but like the Cowboys are starting a rookie running back and rookie quarterback, and the last time that happened was RG3 and Alfred Morris. That worked out pretty good. So we'll see. They have a good offensive line. That doesn't mind. So over it or nah, Kendall Wright's hamstring.
I tried to tell y'all, y'all don't listen to me. I said
What? What'd you say?
I said week 3 at the earliest, probably maybe week 4. He's not going to play this weekend. Maybe he'll be active. If you're looking to put Kendall Wright in your fantasy lineup, you should target week 3 or 4. I'm telling you. Nah, I'm not over it because I'm going to be
Seemed
rubbing
like
y'all's face into this for a while.
early in the like before the draft even happened, he might have been like an 8th or 9th round pick. And yeah, at this point, he's not even being drafted. And you could tell the way they set up the offense that they weren't like, we don't. If you're here, great. If not,
They're not counting on
we're
him.
ready.
They're not. No,
We're
they're
ready
not.
to go with our Metamucil
I'm kind of
powered
listen. Shut
receivers.
up. I'm kind of
Well,
curious to.
old guys.
I'm kind of curious. Andre Johnson has always been pretty effective in the slot, and I'm curious to see if because I don't think that Indy used him right, and I think that Tennessee is going to put him in the slot and utilize his special gifts. And I've come. He burned me last year, but I think he's a guy to keep an eye on. I do.
I mean, whew, we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be better than Randy Moss was when he was
I
with the
mean,
Titans.
as a plug and play, I'm not recommending that you go out and, but you're going to need to plug a guy in. And you're going to have injuries. He's a guy I'm keeping an eye on him. Y'all don't have to.
Just listen to Sharona people. She'll be better off. Yeah, that was one of the weird plays of the preseason when they're playing the Raiders. Like the cornerback that Andre Johnson was on was obviously like looking for a run play and was like almost blocking him, and Andre Johnson just ran past him, and Mariota found him for a nice long gain.
It was
But that was
nice.
like, well, hey, the veteran moxie, we got plenty of that, so hopefully it'll work out. And obviously, this coaching staff with their decades and centuries of experience,
Oh, zip
like
it.
their older veteran types. So over it or not, tailgating. What do you think?
Nah, nah, super nah.
Because not only Josh Gunnell's going to host us, and he said he was going to have Miller Lite ready for me. So yeah, I'm bringing my
Nah.
own beer. He has his own homemade cornhole Titans setup. So we'll have something to do while we drink, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, pregame cans. Don't worry about bottle openers. So it's all about being the veteran savvy. Are you ready? Think you can handle this?
Yes.
Because I'm like, opening Sunday, Red Zone, who should give you that DirecTV free preview. It's like, all right, we're going to watch Titans. Sharona expects big things. Do you not?
Of the direct TV
For the
thing or why?
Titans.
What's the question? I I expect them to be improved. If that's a big thing, yes. I expect big things.
Will we see Statue of Liberty? They ran it two
I
weeks
think
in a row.
I think you're gonna see some trickery. Exotic, baby. Exotic smash mouth.
Just don't run the end around to Tajay
With
Sharp because
Tajay.
that play was
Please
not blocked at all.
do
Like,
not
I don't
hurt
care
my
who you're
top
in, you're
A.
getting
Don't hurt
crushed.
top A. Please don't hurt top A.
Yeah. Are you gonna have words for my dad because he took Tajay and you want
Yes.
him? Hmm. You're gonna be like, "How you doing, old Bob Law?" Punch. I'll drink some wine with you. You'll be okay.
So
How
what's brewing
excited
with
am I?
Zach? Let's do a quick, and then I really got to run because I got a meeting.
Uh-oh. Well, I had some
So
quality beers during our
what are
draft.
you bringing? Yeah, tell us what you're drinking,
Well, I'm
and then
bringing the Dragon's Milk. I'm having wine tonight. I had there's a brewery out of Athens, about an hour from here, called Southern Brewing Company, which is a nice name. And they made their own oak vessels to age their beer. So I had a sour aged in oak barrels, and it was really delicious. And as I told Sharona earlier, I had a Paradox pineapple sour last 2 nights ago, and aged in rum barrels and very good dessert beer. So yeah, as much as Sharona makes fun of the fruity beers, I got some good stuff. But I might just pick some stuff up on the way or get some Nashville beer. I almost feel like you should have a little local for this weekend. And there's just so much good stuff out there. I got a couple. I got that Dragon's Milk that I had to bring, so I can drink that while she's demolishing me in whatever game she picks.
I
She's gonna
think
be like, every time I talk to you on the show, I imagine stabbing you with a sword, and that's what we're gonna do. That's my prediction. So, what we got here? Who's a star?
this is Bandit. This is camera.
He's like, yep, this is my house. You're not going anywhere, are you? Can I get in that suitcase?
So he's been like this all day long. He's been like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I will probably drink primarily wine, although we'll see. You're bringing Dragon's Milk. It's been a minute since I've had one, and I want to try this new one, and we may make a beer run. Who knows? It's gonna be fun.
Well, that's one thing I've enjoyed doing. You go to a different town and you want to go to like a liquor store and just see what they have. It's local stuff because you go to your local place and they have tons of stuff from all around the country, but they have more of the local stuff. So yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know. Maybe it's
What
one
jer-
Saturday beer Sunday. Who knows?
what jersey are you wearing this weekend?
Oh gosh. Well, I have my Mariota shirt, and that's probably what I'll wear because it's
Okay.
probably gonna be warm. I mean, Do you go? I mean, seriously, do you go Pac-Man? Do you go Locker? Do you go CJ 2K? I mean, man, need to pick up the Johnston Fowler, huh? And
Maybe.
now I can get Derrick Henry because he freaking picked the number finally that's
Right.
legal.
We traded with he got the Dexter McCluster's old number.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of knew there was like writing on the wall when the Titans gave the third round pick the same number as Bishop Sankey. You're like, oh, Bishop Sankey's gone. Okay. And he's on the Patriots practice squad, and poor Rotoviz still wants to talk about him, and eventually they'll give up. You know, it's good to see someone like David Cobb is on the Steelers practice squad. So some of these guys have a second shot,
We'll have a shot.
which is nice. So, do you think Titans or Vikings? Who's going to be victorious this weekend?
I think the Titans are going to win.
Woo!
I think it'll be a close game. I think the Titans will probably win by about 4. Be my prediction.
I think the last Titans win I saw was 2 years ago when they beat the Jaguars, and they should have lost because they gave up a touchdown, an onside kick, and then they blocked the field goal. And that was when at the point of the season where you're like, just keep losing. So they've had very good, I think it's 3 years in a row, they've won upsets in week 1, and for some reason the Vikings are favored this week. They don't have a quarterback, but I guess it doesn't matter, right? Who cares,
the Titans
right?
have.
They haven't read your stuff like me. So where do people find your stuff? Because Sharona, you're freaking everywhere. You're podcasting, you're writing, you have meetings with people.
Just check out my Twitter. Just check out my Twitter feed. That's where you can keep up with my comings and goings, and that's Sports by Sharona.
Okay, and me? Well, Zach_Law on Twitter. Do that, and then it'll all be good. And this weekend, maybe we'll even do like a little Facebook video, a little pregame. Maybe we'll do a pregame, postgame. See how we're feeling after that. Maybe. Sharona, right. It's Sharona's approval. So thanks everybody for coming, for watching the show as usual. Don, your kickers are amazing. And kiss my grits.